Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another VOD breakdown video. Today, I kind of want to take it into a different gear where, normally, whether if this is your first video that you've watched on this channel or not, we're normally going to talk about how a team won or how a team lost, rather than my objective here is basically just breaking down PRIMMIE. So if you don't know who PRIMMIE is, he's a ranked player coming out of the APAC region. He's consistently #1 every single act. Like, this guy is just like a pro's nightmare. He walks around and kills 3 people every single round. There's nothing you can actually do about it. People are saying he has the best mechanics in the world. There's clips coming out here of like, some scrims and stuff like that happening with like this whole champs flyover where a lot of teams are over there now. And, some teams are saying that this guy's like shooting better than like Aspas in terms of like the way that he's like rifling and stuff. So obviously, I feel that this is like, maybe this is like a weird comparison to make, but kind of like a brawny moment right now. You know what I mean? Like you have like Aspas, like LeBron, right? And now you have like PRIMMIE, like being like introduced to like the league totally randomly, right? So I hope that he doesn't get a lot of scrutinizing for, if Talon end up losing or something like that. This kind of was like Talon's like last ditch effort to make a push for champs, and they are going to embarrass Team Secret here, beating them 2-0, and it really was on the behalf of PRIMMIE. Not to discredit anybody else on the team, but I think that he's like a really good slot in terms of firepower. Talon really wasn't a roster that scared me. To take a second to talk about someone like Governor, I think that Governor can kind of like compared to Icy, there's been a lot of like random hate on Icy saying he's bad and he doesn't have like takeover potential and stuff like that. First of all, Icy's not bad. He's probably one of the more smarter duelists in the world. Number two, he's more of a weaponized duelist. So I don't really know if anyone's even heard that term before. It's kind of something that I like thought of myself. I think that Governor's similar, where he's more of like an asset to the IGL and the team than he is like this big, bad, scary, thing to the enemy. So, he's, a more maybe intelligent player than some other duelists, and he's applying things like protocols. Maybe he's leading things like post plants or retakes. He's talking like in the mid round, he sacrifices himself, etc. I feel like a lot, the stereotype, I guess, for duelists is that you run in, you get kills, and then you die. And then when you're in a timeout, you lean back in your chair and close your eyes. And you need to have 6 to 14 stuffed animals on stage with you when you go up there. You know what I mean? So, long clip here, long intro. Sorry about that. Let's get back into what we want to break down here. So, what is the presence of PRIMMIE like in the server? What is something that he brings to the table? Let's take a look here. So, again, we would dive, a little more into like the composition kind of like matchup here. But at the end of the day, the double controller deadlock is something that's very like floody. So you can kind of like float around the map. You do have gaps as you don't have a hard info sentinel like Cypher or Killjoy. Team Secret are going to end up grouping up into A here. PRIMMIE initially was, towards C. He's getting like proactive here with Jibboy, and they're walking up B here and clearing it out. They see an aggro trip. They end up breaking it and backing up. Team Secret are ready to go here. I really hate the comp that they play with this Sky Sova. I think it has no stopping power, and it doesn't really make like a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, they get on the same page here, and they're going to end up getting these trades pretty easily on behalf of this Paranoia and Util combo backside. So we have a 5 versus 5 setup about to happen. This is really, really favoring Talon here. They get separated by this utility here. The Flood can't actually help. Jeremy with a triple entry, basically, and the round is just over, right? 2v5. All Team Secret need to do now not only is limit risk, but use their bodies, right? So a lot of people think that limiting risk is, means you have to play safe and hide. Limiting risk really just comes down to the fact of, how do you stop the enemy from getting value? So even though you might consider this aggression, limiting risk in this setting is actually, comboing something like a triple peak, right? An up-down hold. Your 5v2, do not give them walk-ups. Do not give them little timings that they can get to get back into the round, because when you do it against people like PRIMMIE, this is what's going to happen, okay? So again, walking to the bomb site here, 2v5, slowly clearing things out, has the pick-me-up available here, the overheal, instantly uses it. Jeremy gets sat down. 2G gets sat down. No real kind of like idea of, who has first and what's going to happen. Another kill. No shock left. Little spam going. A 4K on the round, winning a 2v5. This is the type of stuff you're going to see from this player. So realistically, the main thing we can credit this round to is the support coming in from Ban, and the rest of his teammates, since they do have like the A line coming in here. But just taking a look at the setup over there, you have two sensors and PRIMMIE, right? That's all you really have. Not a lot of he usually isn't being started with. He's usually been by himself so far, and again, that like presence in the server is something that you can actually like wager. A lot of people are under the impression that you need to play the game perfectly. You're like 3-1-1, you're 2-1-2, you're perfect setups that literally consider anything. Okay, you have people like Frost. Okay, coaches like Frost who are like, you know what? Let's push the limits on this. Let's actually see how far this can go. So you're gonna find this guy soloing bomb sites where his job is either to sit in there and die defending them, or angle, try to get a pick or at least do some damage and like get out and be able to like retake and kind of like be like the tip of the spear in that regard. So again, another moment here where just been cycling smokes, nothing really hard here, just getting ready to face check. Gets hit with a lot of utility here. There's no real follow up. Again, Ban with a nice ult here, goes with some nice help as well. And again, like, what can you do about it? He's just peeking you in the man advantage. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He's not going to let you get set up. He's not going to give you, respect, right? Or an opportunity to get back in the round. This is what's going to be insane about this guy. A setup I can, guess to credit to Frost here, the head coach of Talon. You're going to see that, again, PRIMMIE has been on an island a lot, right? It's been over in that C area, just cycling smokes, not really doing anything. When you notice, or at least you have like an idea that a player is going to start heating up like this, you don't want to not pass him the ball, right? You want him to keep shooting. So he's going to get involved here and, kind of like be proactive on like this like BA back and forth rather than kind of like rotting away like a traditional anchor. So whether someone on the team is calling this, he's calling this, or they know to bring this up because of, Frost planning, this is how you kind of, again, weaponize, like someone like this, right? You put him in a position where, he's kind of like an asset to the IGL. He isn't necessarily maybe, calling every single time, but the IGL can just put him in a spot and say, yo, come over here and go do this, right? So, A, lobby control is lost. PRIMMIE's just cheating over. He just gets to do what he wants, right? He's just literally wandering around the map trying to, catch, where the fight is going to happen. Okay, it looks like they're going for like a little bit of like a refight, kind of like trap here with like the Raze rocket. They have 3-4 people ready to go here. Soon enough they're gonna, say something like, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's do it. So on the smoke timing, Nightfall's gonna go. It's gonna get a triple ping. Governor's gonna Rosa here. He's just gonna chill for a second. He's gonna pull out, and they're gonna get proactive somewhere else again. PRIMMIE in a spot still where he can still play. So not necessarily the tip of the spear, but close. Ready to be able to help that. Nice 5v3 here. Governor with a little bit of an overheat. Hat's gonna come in with a pivot. They're going to kind of pump the B a little bit here, immediately go back to A because they know they gave the site. PRIMMIE and Cruz with some good patience here. One way's going to go up with a reposition. And again, even this is the man advantage right now. As we all know as viewers that, things can go, the other way, right? Especially with the Cruz death like there. Boom, one tap. Overheal. Reposition. Check the aggro. Nothing there. That's a disadvantage gunfight. Didn't even get the first shot in. Insta-kill. Jumping out into the open, saying, I'll find him, I'll find him. Ends up finding him. 2v1 situation here for Jesse. Isn't going to be able to convert it. Talon are up to 5. I think a lot of scouting has shown over time that people who are reliable with their mechanics, getting kills shooting, whether they're the best duelist or not, a lot of them transition into like a flex role or like more of like a little bit of a support role, a trading role, and that's like kind of like what PRIMMIE can go back and forth here with on Governor, right? So they have a dynamic where PRIMMIE doesn't just play smokes. He's going to play duelists on different maps and stuff like that. But this is how powerful you can make a roster in terms of like firepower. So again, we talked about Governor being the term weaponized, right? He's used by the IGL and the coach to execute fundamental things. Again, he's probably a very vocal player in terms of leading things like the retake of the post plant, okay, and he's going to get value with his microphone and understanding how to play advantages rather than someone, again, who doesn't really talk and just runs around, kind of like does what they want. There's more of like a rhythm to him rather than everybody else who's kind of like playing their own game here. So we're going to see Talon get ready to do like a little bit of some sort of, C exec here. Okay, they're going to come out, they're going to get ready to go. Again, Governor leading, leading the charge here. Utility is going to be thrown, big trap's going to come out, Governor's going to die. And, because of Governor dying and PRIMMIE being on a support role, it's going to look like something like this. you know, Team Secret, I mean, holy shit, you know, somebody smells like shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's a horrible, horrible, you know, cleanup here. PRIMMIE hits the overheal off that 2K there and instantly checks the weak side, aka the flank, and catches off Jesse. So that's back-to-back 4Ks on pistol rounds, and both of them were clutches. So, you know, really bad showing for Team Secret here. A couple of the clips that have been shown, I'm sure people are asking the question, like, you know, can PRIMMIE only be good when he's trading? You know, can PRIMMIE only be good when Governor's baiting for him and he's going in third or fourth and getting trades? You know, absolutely he can, right? This guy's a monster. We're going to see it again on the Duelist Showcase here, but, you know, we're going to see, like, a little bit of, like, misdirection where he's just going to be able to run up and just bulldoze this bomb site, right? Almost get the double entry here, overheals with the ult online, gonna immediately push up into this heaven area here. Here's some steps, trying to make a play, you know, trying to go through on, like, good timing. Cruz gets a trade onto a kill onto Governor. He's gonna die to the op here, puts him down to 30 HP. And it's only gonna hit him once with the classic there, puts him down to 4. So even though a 1K in this round, you know, again, like the presence, the just how he creates a problem in a round is gonna be hard for teams to solve. You know, I'm just gonna keep it real. It's gonna be hard for teams to solve. Now in Abyss here, we're going to see PRIMMIE playing the Jet and Governor playing the Sova. A lot of people might have been surprised about this if you figuring out who Governor is through Talon. Governor's been playing a lot of different roles in the NA Tier 2 scene for a long time. He's played the Flash role, he's played some Recon, he's trialed for a lot of teams. So this is actually like the thing we talked about earlier, again, weaponizing a player. Okay, again, he's kind of just like an IGL. It's just like, you know, not necessarily dream, but, you know, like a really like A tier option. You know, not only can he play this like duelist to the fundamental role, but if we need him to, if the type of team exists for it, you know, Talon does, he can pick up things like this Gecko, right? You know, this Sova, whatever it might be. You know, the reason I said Gecko there is because that's an agent that Icy plays on Icebox for G2, and that's a comparison that we've made. But just take a look here on, like, you know, the level of like confidence they have in PRIMMIE. Okay, so after barely losing the bonus round, they're going to get ready to go into the B site here. Since they, you know, have found the Cypher utility, they expect it to be the weak side. So smoke, shock, dart, smoke. That's all that's been used. You know what I mean? That's all that's been used here, other than a rechargeable stun. So going into the post, okay, because of kind of like PRIMMIE's like entry, we have the paranoia, we have the drill, we have 2 flashes, we have a shock, and we have a drone. I'd call this unwinnable, okay? So not only is this unwinnable on paper, you know, just watch what this guy's going to do now, okay? By the way, you know, I'll preface this before this happens. This guy's never played a match in his life. He's never played a match in his life. He plays ranked. He gets to like 1300 RR every act, just shitting on everybody. There's nothing you can do about it. He just runs around and kills you, and you can't do anything about it. He immediately gets brought up to the international stage.
To take full control of the site, but with the Odin,
so, you know, how fast he's going to move off this is pretty crazy. I really don't like Envy kind of like full sprinting there. You know, that might sound kind of like silly to hear, but, you know, again, like full sprinting, he knows the flash is coming, right? And again, like, watch this post plant now, you know? Have fun. I have an Odin through a wall. I have drone if I need it. I have drill, double flash. There's nothing you can do if you're a secret other than just, you know, to go save. So VALORANT really is a game of inches, you know, gaining information, a positive utility trade, doing damage, not receiving any. Winning rounds you shouldn't win, okay? It's all really valuable. And again, these mechanically gifted players, these are the people who are going to consistently be able to pull stuff like this off. So in the 3v5 here, 3v4 technically. Okay. PRIMMIE's gonna move over to A here. He's gonna have like a pretty big timing and a gap. He's gonna get ready to do like a little bit of an A split through the vent here. Jitboys is gonna kind of like shove this kind of side. Fault line's gonna come back from Cruz for backside. Chip Damage is gonna come in here. PRIMMIE's gonna be, you know, a big space creator in a situation like this where, you know, he kind of gives him a lot of room to play with, at least in terms of running back and getting out of the bomb site. So just leaving him in at 50 HP. Hey, brother, do what you can. You know, we'll try to close this round out with ults if you get some kills. So I'd say even if he had more bullets here, you know, this could have been all of them if he really wanted to. It really could have been all of them. But the fact that he gets 2 is just good enough, right? So time getting a little low here. He knows they're creeping up. He rips out on the first tap. I really don't like the tap there from Jesse. I don't really understand what he thinks is going to happen. You really do need to just contact up there and try to be able to catch them off guard if you're going to win that round. But Town are, going to win a round they shouldn't have on behalf of PRIMMIE, really. This isn't necessarily Team Secret's fault here, just trying to default and grab this orb, on their eco round, but something you got to consider, specifically when you can, I guess, is, who you're going to feed the kills to. So there's kind of like an easy standard that you want to operate around on these eco rounds at this setting, right? Number one, you want to be careful going to a person's bomb site who's really close to ult, right? Who can just like farm it up real quick and then have it online for the gun round. And another thing you want to be careful of is how hard you want to like potentially like feed or entertain a duelist, right? It is kind of like a 50-50 scenario where sometimes the duelist will get like a lot of kills and gain confidence, and that's really bad for you. But sometimes since it's an eco, traditionally a duelist is someone who has like a little less discipline than the rest of his team, or at least he kind of like knows that he can kind of like be a little more overzealous or overextend more, so you might be able to punish him and pick up his gun, whatever it might be. But going into PRIMMIE here is definitely like unfortunate for them because he's just going to build confidence. So this isn't necessarily like impressive by any means. He's just getting like a 2K, on Deagles, and then he's going to reposition into mid, and he's going to get one more here before he goes for some little silly like updraft play. But instantly one tapping that guy on the ADS there, and just check this one out. So again, like when I see this, not only does it just like piss me off if I'm up against it, but it's like I know in the back of my head, like shit, this guy doesn't even take us serious, right? And depending on the team, that can really get in some people's head. I don't really think it does for Team Secret necessarily, but it's just like a fact of the matter. Big time players make big time plays. After being in a really uncomfortable position, in my opinion at least, Team Secret have won 4 of the last 5. The last 3 have been really easy. They're kind of just have like a good read on the game right now, and then also Talon is kind of like messing up pretty bad on this eco here. They kind of understand that they have like a little bit of a round to play with here. They haven't really brought out the op, which is interesting, but PRIMMIE's going to go for the hero vandal with light armor. He's going to timing this drone, and again, we need someone in this position to hit a shot like this, right? He only has a fraction of a second to do it, and on that, kind of like first blood there, breaking, the flank open, having to make 2GE sit there and hold the flank and kind of like waste time while his team scales into the bomb site. Okay, a little regroup comes in here, and now they're going to be able to flood like on timing, and they're actually going to be able to win this man advantage retake here. German gets sat down, 5v3, ult pulses, waiting for the smokes to fade, just kind of taking their time, getting ready to go. Little util combo, nice kill from Governor there, 5v2 now. A flash online and a fragment here. 2G's gonna get spammed by PRIMMIE there. He's got 2 on the round now with a big first blood. Weird movement, jumping around in the open, trying to stay alive just for an extra second, half a second, so his teammates can trade him. And Talon are gonna get the match point off of a round like that. So Talon are actually gonna 2-0 Team Secret here, pushing themselves into Champion SEOUL, okay, and I can easily just credit it to this guy, okay, 1.2 rating, 52 kills on 2 maps, 200 ADR with a positive first death ratio, okay. I mean, this is almost a solo carry, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to go as far as to say like he dragged them across the finish line, but I'm very, very close to that. Unfortunately, if you're a Talon fan, I still think that this team has a lot of work to do. They do have, some younger players who haven't really been on this stage or this level before, so I'm hoping that they can really like take this serious and give it their absolute all. On this Abyss map specifically, Team Secret's map pick, they actually had 3 deaths to people falling off the map. And in 2 of those situations, so not all of them, but 2 of them, Talon still ended up losing the round. So they had 2 situations where someone fell off the map and gave them a first blood and they still managed to lose, okay? And the reason that they really closed the game was off of a thrifty, kind of like led by like PRIMMIE, like mainly, and his 30 kills here. So Lotus is like a little different. It just seemed like they were kind of like struggling to like close out the game more so. But this one I didn't really feel like they had control of what was going on at all. They just kind of like came down to like a couple like individual moments that ended up winning them the game. So again, they still do have like a lot of work to do, but this is the power, okay, just the essence, the aura, I guess you could say, that this guy brings to the server. He's a problem. He's hard to deal with. He's matching up with the Governor pretty well. I think he's fitting into the dynamic of the team. I know that his head coach Frost like believes a lot in him. Just by seeing like that announcement video there, he thinks it's like a good idea, and I think that people who can believe in a system that he can create, they actually can go far. I don't really have them going far personally in my champions predictions. I do, wish the best for them. They do have a couple NA boys over there that are, some friends of mine, and I, want to see them do good. But at the end of the day, that's the hardest tournament in the entire world. So a bunch of people going up there with, really no international LAN experience, with a ranked player, if you want to call them that, they do have a long ways to go to catch up to, some of the names in their group, right? But again, want to just take some time to showcase that. PRIMMIE's definitely on the come up. This guy's a serious future in the game, and he's going to be an incredible player. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, consider subscribing. Open the description, check out all the socials down below. If you want to get better at the game and work with me, join my Valorant Discord. Check out my Valorant coaching. Okay, no better option that you can get. Okay, reasonable prices, discount options, a lot that goes into it. I have been streaming on Twitch a lot more than normal than my challenger season, so make sure you guys follow me along down there as well. We're doing things like watch parties, Radiant Ranked, Pro 10 mans, whatever it might be. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. T-Dog out of here. Deuces.